Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into the story of Lionel Messi.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one.
We're drawing on a discussion from the Shery Merry Show. And, well, our aim is to look past the headlines.
Right, to really dig into what made him who he is.
Exactly. Pinpoint the key things,
Yeah.
the early struggles, obviously his incredible talent, but also some interesting stuff about his physique.
And that source, the Shery Merry Show, they really framed it well, I thought. This mix of, like, early hardship, but also just sheer, raw talent from the start.
Yeah, it sets the scene perfectly. So his story kicks off in Rosario, Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like almost right away people noticed there was something special about how he played.
Yeah, the source mentioned that sort of innate quality. Like, even as a little kid, he just understood the game differently.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is that just genetics or something nurtured back then?
It's the age-old question, isn't it? Nature versus nurture.
But then, bang, age 11, he hits this massive hurdle, the growth hormone deficiency diagnosis.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
And the cost of treatment, I mean, they mentioned over $1,000 a month.
Which, back then especially, was just an astronomical amount for his family. A real barrier.
Totally. It really puts his future in doubt, doesn't it? How fragile that early promise was.
Absolutely. You think how many kids with potential just don't get that chance because of money. It's sobering.
Which makes FC Barcelona stepping in just, well, pivotal.
Completely pivotal.
Yeah.
Offering to pay for the treatment.
And that led to the move to Spain. He was only 13.
13. Can you imagine leaving your home, your family?
At that age. It's a massive decision.
The Shery and Merry Show really stressed that sacrifice. Not just for him, but the whole family must have felt it.
Oh, for sure. Moving to a new country, new language, new culture, all while getting medical treatment.
It shows incredible belief they had in him, right? To uproot like that.
And you just try to picture those early years in Spain. Must have been incredibly tough.
Oh, yeah. Lonely, homesick.
And the pressure, proving himself to Barcelona, justifying their investment.
That's a lot for a kid to carry.
What do you think was the biggest thing about that period for him?
I think it must have forged this incredible mental strength, just dealing with all that day in, day out.
Yeah, resilience.
Exactly. That became just as important as his skill on the ball, coping off the pitch.
And it's right around then, or soon after, that this otherworldly talent really starts to show.
Yeah, people were already struggling to describe it, weren't they?
The dribbling, the vision, the precision, it was just different. The Shery and Merry Show talked about how observers were kind of lost for words.
And it's not just hype, is it? I mean, scientists have actually studied his playing style.
Really? Trying to figure out the biomechanics.
Yeah, or the cognitive side. Like, how does he do that? It goes beyond just watching and admiring. People want to understand the mechanics.
That's fascinating. And speaking of mechanics, his physical build, it's not what you'd maybe call typical for a top athlete.
No, not like a powerhouse. He's at 5'7".
But that height, apparently, is key to his low center of gravity.
Right. And the source, Shery Merry, they pointed out this isn't just a detail. It's a real advantage.
How so?
Well, better balance, quicker turns, more stable when defenders try to push him off the ball.
Ah, okay. So turning what some might see as a disadvantage into a strength.
Exactly. It's perfectly suited to how he plays.
And then that balance works with his speed, right? That explosive burst.
Oh, absolutely. That rapid acceleration over, like, the first few yards.
These defenders for dead.
Yeah, the Shery and Merry Show described it as, like, a sudden power surge from 0 to 60 almost instantly. Makes him so hard to mark.
And then there's the left foot. It's almost got its own mythology.
Yeah. Some of the descriptions get pretty wild, like it has its own brain.
Well, maybe a bit much, but you get the point. The control is just exceptional.
It is. It's not just power. It's that touch, the finesse, doing these incredibly complex things that look effortless.
He's honed it perfectly.
To absolute perfection.
But he's not just a goal scorer, is he? That's maybe missing the bigger picture.
Definitely not. His playmaking is immense.
He runs the show, reads the game like, well, they compared him to a chess grandmaster.
That's a good comparison. Seeing things others don't, anticipating moves.
The Shery and Merry Show really emphasized that. He's the conductor, not just the soloist.
Right. The vision, the passing, unlocking defenses with one ball, that's as crucial as his goals. It shows a complete football brain.
The show also got into those inevitable comparisons, putting him next to Pele or Maradona.
Always happens with the greats.
They talked about Pele's power, Maradona's magic, almost.
Yeah, flair.
And they suggested Messi as maybe a blend of both, but with something else added, like divine grace was the term they used.
Divine grace. It's trying to capture that effortlessness, isn't it? The way he just seems to glide sometimes.
Yeah. What do you make of those comparisons generally?
They're useful, I guess, for context. But every player is unique. Pele's era was different. Maradona brought that incredible raw passion.
And Messi has this sustained, almost metronomic consistency alongside the brilliance.
Exactly. That consistency is maybe his defining trait compared to some others.
And it's interesting how he kind of defies that image of the dominant athlete, not the physical specimen like, say, Ronaldo.
Right. But his physique is perfectly tuned for his game.
Which really shows there's no single blueprint for success in football, right?
Absolutely. It proves that a unique set of skills, honed and used smartly, can be just as deadly, maybe even more so, than just raw power or height.
And the physiological stuff is interesting, too. The source mentions specific things.
Yeah, like the fast-twitch muscle fibers for that acceleration.
And incredible core strength. You see him ride tackles that would flatten other players.
That core strength is vital. It's not just about absorbing hits, it's about staying balanced while doing those mazy dribbles at speed.
And endurance, too. He covers so much ground, maintains that level all game.
It's the whole package. These things all work together, you know?
It really is fascinating how things that might look like weaknesses on paper are actually strengths for him, like his height.
We talked about the low center of gravity, the agility.
Yeah, because he wasn't the tallest, he had to develop other ways to beat players. That close control, maybe.
Could well be. Constraints often drive innovation, right? He perfected skills suited to his build.
Even his personality, maybe. He's quite quiet, seems unassuming.
Off the pitch, yeah.
Does that make him harder to predict on the pitch? Defenders don't know what he's thinking.
That's an interesting thought. There's maybe a psychological edge there. He just seems totally focused on the ball, on the game. No wasted energy on theatrics. Maybe that unpredictability is part of it.
And all this adds up to, well, the legacy is just staggering.
Oh, unbelievable. The league titles, Champions League.
Finally getting that World Cup.
That must have meant everything. And the Ballon d'Ors? How many is it now?
A record number. It just speaks to sustained excellence over, 15 years or more.
At the absolute highest level, constantly delivering under immense pressure.
Yet, despite all that success, all the GOAT talk.
He still seems quite humble, doesn't he?
Yeah, grounded. That reputation seems genuine, like he hasn't forgotten where he came from.
And that resonates with people, I think. It makes the incredible achievements feel a bit more human. It feels like it's about the love of the game, not just the fame.
And his influence goes beyond football, too. The charity work, family stuff.
The Shery Merry Show touched on that. How his story, coming from those beginnings, inspires people, especially maybe underdogs.
Yeah, it's that narrative, isn't it? Overcoming obstacles through sheer talent and hard work.
It's powerful. Shows that huge challenges can be overcome.
So, thinking about the sort of deeper meaning, it really highlights that talent isn't just something you're born with and that's it.
No, definitely not. It needs work.
It has to be nurtured, developed, applied relentlessly. He didn't just have a gift, he maximized it.
Exactly. Raw talent gets you so far. But reaching that legendary status, that takes dedication, focus, pushing yourself constantly. His story is maybe the ultimate example of that.
So as we wrap this up, that big question always hangs there, doesn't it? Is he the greatest of all time?
Ah, the Joe debate.
It never ends, especially with comparisons to Ronaldo, Maradona, Pele.
And that's okay. It's part of what makes following sports fun, arguing about these things. There's no single right answer.
It's subjective.
Totally. Everyone values different things. Was it Pele's goals, Maradona's magic moments, Ronaldo's physical dominance and records, Messi's consistency and artistry?
So we'd encourage listeners, after hearing all this, think about his journey, the early days, the unique skills, the mindset, where you place him.
Yeah, what resonates with you most? Was it overcoming the growth deficiency, the way he plays, his humility?
What defines greatness for you? And maybe a final thought to leave people with. Messi's story really shows how huge obstacles, things that seem like massive disadvantages,
Can sometimes be turned around.
yeah, or navigated through passion and just focusing on your own unique strengths. Makes you wonder.
How might we look at our own challenges differently?
Exactly. Could any struggles in our own lives be seen through that lens? Something to think about.